I spend the majority of my time traveling the world alone, and I never have an issue making friends wherever I go. People that I meet randomly in elevators, gyms, and even on the street are always hitting me up, trying to hang out again, and the reason I'm able to do this can be summed up with this chart of the emotional spiral that is often found online. Now, I don't think this chart is entirely accurate, but overall it does a good job getting the point across. The point being that certain emotions and thoughts can lead to upward spirals, more positive emotions, a better vibe, a better time, and certain emotions and thoughts can lead to downward spirals, more negative emotions, a vibe killer, a bad time. If you are able to bring people upwards when they interact with you, they will feel many different types of positive emotions and they will want to see you again. It's as simple as that. Now, there are basically two things you gotta do in order to pull this off. The first is to figure out how to bring yourself into the upper half of the spiral. You see, it's not just about getting other people to feel good. It's equally, if not more important, to be able to get yourself to feel good. And this is because humans are social creatures who are heavily influenced by the emotional state of those around them. If you're happy, they'll feel happier. Now, there are three ways to do this. The first is by taking care of yourself and making sure that your biology is in check. If your hormones and nutrition are off balance, it's going to be near impossible to naturally find yourself in the upper half of the spiral. You need to be exercising. You need to be avoiding processed foods, chemicals, including those labeled as fragrances and phthalates, often found in skincare products. And I even recommend you get your blood work done and even your hair tested to see if your hormones and minerals are at good levels. Now, once your health is in check, the second way to make yourself feel good is by learning how to enter a state of play. This is when you are focused and interacting with what's in front of you without thinking too much about what you're doing. It's kind of like one of those rhythm games where you hit arrows in sync with the beat of the song. If you are focused on the game and able to hit a lot of arrows in a row, you start to feel really good. But the moment you slip up and start thinking about how you slipped up, you start missing more, and that good feeling quickly goes away. Talking to people playfully is kind of like that. You want to be focused on them and what they're saying, just like how you're focused on the arrows flying down from the top of the screen so that you can react quickly enough to keep yourself in the state of play. Now, in this case, reacting when speaking with someone isn't about hitting arrows. It's about commenting on what they just said, asking questions, and/or physically reacting with your body language. If you react quickly enough, you'll be essentially dancing mentally with the other person, and you will both start to feel good. Now, keep in mind, reacting too quickly or too slowly can throw things off. A few seconds can make a huge difference. If you want to learn more, you can watch popular talk show hosts interview people and see how fast they react, and also how they sometimes mix things up by adding in pauses. The third and final way to bring yourself into the upper half of the spiral is to know what to do when you find yourself slipping into the lower half. Here's what works for me. Whenever I feel myself slipping downwards, I start by noticing the feeling. I try to identify which negative emotion it is. Is it anger, fear, shame? And then I try to reframe it into something empathetic or positive. Here's an example. I sometimes find myself on long flights having not slept in over 24 hours, next to a baby who is crying nonstop. Whenever this happens, naturally I get a bit irritated, as a baby's cry is designed to increase the stress of nearby humans. Whenever this happens, I think to myself, okay, I'm feeling irritated because of the nonstop crying. Then I distance myself from the emotion. I think, feeling irritated is a natural response to crying. It's neither bad nor good, it's expected. And then I reframe the situation and either try to empathize or flip it into a positive. I do this by basically never assuming that something or someone is inherently bad. In this example, I could empathize by wondering why the kid is like this. Is it biological, or is this because of the way he was brought up by his parents? If his parents raised him this way, I wonder why. What type of struggles could they be facing? And by the time I've thought this far, I no longer feel as irritated. So again, when you find yourself slipping, identify the negative emotion, distance yourself from it, reframe, and try to see it from their point of view, assuming the best. Now that we covered how to get yourself to stay in the upper half of the emotional spiral, it's time to cover how to get other people into the other half. There are many ways to do this. I'll share my top 4. The first is by being non-judgmental. One of the worst things you could do is judge someone, especially a stranger, on their beliefs. Let's say someone tells you that they prefer politician A over politician B. If they tell you that they're a fan of A and you start thinking that they're an idiot, saying things like, "Are you dumb? I can't believe you support a racist, fascist, or whatever other word that ends with ist," you're automatically banishing them to the lower half of the spiral. If instead you respond with genuine curiosity and say something like, "Oh, that's very interesting. Can you tell me why?" you're bringing them to the upper half of the spiral because it shows an open mind and a willingness to try to understand. The second way to bring someone up is by finding similarities. When someone realizes that you are like them, it makes them feel accepted and good. And this is pretty easy to do. There's always something that you can point out. It can be anything like a type of food they like, a hobby, a taste in music or movies, any belief or opinion about anything, or anything from the past that you share. As long as you find it and make a comment so that they know you share the similarity, they will feel good. The third way to bring someone upwards is by being generous. Generous with your time, resources, and blessings. When people see that you are willing to give them something of value without expecting anything in return, it shows that you have abundance, that you want the best for them, that you value them, and that ultimately feels good. And it's not just about occasionally covering the tab when you're out with friends. That does help. It's also about whether or not you hand out blessings to people, noticing the little things and giving them compliments, saying things that show you genuinely want others to succeed and do well. Of course, there is nuance here. You can't give away too much. You need to strike a balance and be generous, but not to the point where others are taking advantage of you. And the fourth and final way to bring people upwards is by being silly in public. One of the clearest examples of this is someone who dances like crazy at the club. Every good party needs a couple of people who are not too worried about what others are thinking and able to let loose. This raises the bar for what's socially acceptable and allows other people to let loose too. You need a couple of crazy friends if you want to have a fun night out. So overall, spend less time in the bottom half of the spiral and spend more time helping others get to the upper half when interacting with them, and you'll naturally find yourself surrounded with people who will want to see you again. Besides that, stay tuned.